guys, Cooking with Kim D. Welcome back to the kitchen. Tonight we are using one of our Pampered Chef power tools, one of our small appliances, the quick cooker pressure cooker. So if you're not familiar with our pressure cooker, let me tell you a little bit about it. It has a whole bunch of preset settings for different cooking methods. We have sear, steam, slow cook, proof, white rice, brown rice, whole grains, chicken and poultry, beef and pork, fish and seafood, soups and stocks, beans, stews and chilies, dessert, and then there is also a custom setting. So you can really do a lot of things inside the pressure cooker, inside our quick cooker. There are a few accessories that you can get with it. It comes with a small rack so that if you need to lift anything up off the base of the internal bowl, you can. And then we also sell a ceramic pot. So if you wanted to, I've done a teriyaki chicken at the base, at the bottom of the pot, and then put the stand in, and then in the ceramic bowl I've done white rice, so you can cook both things at the same time. We have a fluted pan, so you can do desserts in here. All sorts of things that can go in here. Just a great addition to our kitchen. So some of the safety features that I love pointing out about our quick cooker. The outside of the quick cooker stays cool to the touch, which I think is very important, especially if you have little ones in your house, or if you're entertaining. You don't want people brushing up against it and possibly burning themselves. I say the word sleek-ish because obviously it's not a tiny unit, but the other one that I had, the handles stuck out on the side. Now, I don't have a big enough kitchen to keep this on the countertop at all times, so I do like that it doesn't take up any extra room with the handles when I have to go put it in the closet. The handles for this unit are down here. They're kind of inside, so they're at the bottom of the base of the quick cooker. The lid is probably the most important safety feature of it. So this red button right here will pop up kind of like a Purdue turkey, or a turkey, butterball turkey, not Purdue, that you get at Thanksgiving. That'll pop up once the right pressure has been reached. When you release the pressure, and I'm going to stop right here for 1 second. There are two ways to release pressure when you're using a pressure cooker. There is a manual release and there is a quick release. A manual release or a slow release is when you just let the quick cooker naturally release the steam. You're not going to do anything, but it's going to naturally release it. That's for things that usually you need a long cook time for. Roasts and big cuts of meat and stuff like that. Things that don't take as long to cook, you're probably going to manually release, which means you're going to press this button and the steam's all going to come out of it. Now, as you can see, this is where our steam release button is. This is where the steam is actually released. So those two things are not near each other, so you don't run a risk of burning your finger when you go to release the steam. That is my problem that I've had with another unit we had, is that the release button was so close to where the steam came out, I would get awful steam burns. And if you've had one before, you know just how awful a steam burn is. So tonight I am doing, now the recipe calls for 1 rack. I have a family of 5, and if I'm gonna make ribs, I'm making them because I want them in the fridge for a little bit, for a day or two. Kids are home from school now, so this is awesome to have inside the refrigerator to just kind of heat up as we want. So I have 2 racks of baby back ribs in here. So what I'm going to do, and then inside the quick cooker I have a can of, it calls for root beer. I didn't have any root beer, Dr. Pepper, so Dr. Pepper in it went. If you have Coca-Cola or something like that, you could do that as well. So when you open your baby back ribs from the package, from the butcher or the store or whatever, on the back of your ribs is going to be a membrane. It's not on the front where the meat is, it's on the back. So this membrane here, you want to take that off if you can before you start cooking them. So all I did was I kind of took my knife and got right underneath it. And I did start it only because my hands don't always work really great. So I needed something, I didn't want to look like a fool on TV. And then see, it's just kind of ripping back. And I'm going to use my knife just to kind of get off as much as I can. And voila. So take that, doesn't take very long, but take those couple of extra steps just to get that membrane off the back. Now in here I have a dry rub that I made. You do not need to put a dry rub on, but I definitely suggest it. I think it adds a lot of nice flavor. In this rub, this is a rub I found on Pinterest and then kind of doctored up myself. It has some brown sugar, it has salt and pepper and onion powder, it has some garlic powder, some coriander, and then it called for a couple of other things. And what I used instead was our chili lime and our smoky applewood. This is the perfect recipe to be using the smoky applewood for. So I just mixed that all up. Actually, my son mixed it all up for me. And now I am just putting it on top of the meat. And then I'm just going to kind of rub that in. Oh, I need my knife again. And then I want to cut this into 4 pieces. So I'm going to cut it down the middle. And all I'm doing is I'm feeling for in between a couple of the ribs. So 2. Do that from this side. It doesn't have to be super even, just enough to get them to fit in the quick cooker. So like I said, can of root beer, Dr. Pepper in here, root beer, cola, anything will work. The way a pressure cooker works is you have to have some moisture in there for the pressure to start building up. All right, so my 2 racks fits in here nicely. Let me just give my hands a quick rinse from all that rub. Grab my towel. All right, so the lid is going to go on. And then I'm just going to read the directions. So we seasoned both sides. We added the root beer. I'm going to close the lid. We're going to select so I'm just going to use my wheel here and go to the beef pork setting. Oh, and that's all I do is press start. That's it. Super easy. So they have some custom settings on here or some preset settings on here, and they have figured out I'm not going to tell you all the technical stuff behind it because I don't know it. I just know how to use it and follow a recipe. And a lot of the cooking times they've already figured out for us. So when you press it, you can still adjust the time on it if you would like, but they've tried to take the guesswork out of it for us. There is a custom function that I use a lot too, because a lot of recipes call for a custom function. So I'm going to take that and put that aside. Into my sink goes my dirty cutting board. Now, if you'll excuse me for 1 second, I am going to grab my cast iron pan out of the oven to show you what I'm making next. All right, so I have here our 12-inch cast iron skillet. We sell a few different cast iron pieces. We have raw cast iron, which is what this is, and then we also have enameled cast iron, which is beautiful. Right now we have a gray and a blue color available. They're both gorgeous, and they really look nice taking them from the oven to the table, which is partly one of the reasons why we started carrying them. Cast iron, if you don't own cast iron, grab a piece. We sell a 12-inch, a 10-inch, and 2 5.5-inch, a set of 2 5.5-inch minis on the raw cast iron. Our cast iron comes pre-seasoned. I have to be honest with you, I did not like cast iron when I met my husband. I'm so sorry to say this because I think it was somebody's in the family's cast iron, but I didn't know how to use it. I didn't know that it wasn't supposed to be like completely cleaned afterwards. I didn't understand it. And when I became a consultant, I earned a couple of the cast iron pieces, so I started playing with them and using them a little bit more. And now I love cast iron. I love, I'm making a cornbread right now. So this is a Paula Deen recipe. I will post a link to the recipe. Again, I'm just really good at following recipes. I don't come up with them on my own, I just follow them. And this is her corn casserole dish. I love making this and then putting it inside of the hot cast iron because it almost starts to build like a nice crust on the bottom, which I really love. And I love when cornbread has a nice crust. Now this isn't exactly a cornbread, it's a corn casserole, but it's on the idea of a cornbread, and so I like that crust underneath. And our cast iron, you should never wash cast iron with soap, only some water and maybe one of our scrapers, and that's all you need. And make sure that you dry your cast iron as soon as you have washed it. You do not want to let that air dry or else it'll rust. But if you have a rusty piece of cast iron and you don't know how to fix it, please message me. I have a video that I can share with you on how you can save your cast iron. All right, so in our batter, this is our classic batter bowl. Again, this is a Paula Deen corn casserole recipe. All I have is a can of creamed corn and a can of whole kernel sweet corn, 1 box of Jiffy cornbread mix or corn muffin mix. To this, I'm adding a stick of butter. Guys, I'm all about the comfort food. As you can probably tell by looking at some of my recipes and whatnot, comfort food is definitely my thing. All right, so adding that in, and then I need a cup of sour cream. So I'm gonna use our Measure-All. This is our Measure-All cup. It comes in 3 different sizes. This is the 2 cup, we have a 1 cup, and then we have a mini, which is great for things like when you're measuring just a little bit of honey or something sticky, maple syrup or whatnot, that works great. So with one of my scrapers, I'm putting in a cup of sour cream. And what I love about these, now if you're somebody who makes like peanut butter cookies, and if you use Crisco or anything like shortening or something like that, that it's kind of hard to scrape out your measuring cup, this works perfectly because I measure it, push, take the side of my scraper, scrape it off, boom, no scraping to do. And I get every little bit of whatever it is that I'm measuring. So all I'm doing is mixing this up. And if you wanted to add some cayenne pepper, or it is a little bit on this, not super sweet, but the corn muffin mix has some sweetness to it. But if you want to add a little something to give it a little kick, feel free. And then all I'm going to do is drop this into my, or pour this into my cast iron pan. It's going to cook for about 45 minutes on 350. And then, it's been out of the oven a little too long, or maybe I didn't preheat it enough. Usually it gives a nice little sizzle when you add it to the hot cast iron, but that's okay. It's still going to come out great. All right, so there's corn casserole. And then at the end, after I cook this for about 45 minutes, I'm going to use our microplane grater. So this, we have a coarse one and then we have a fine one. And I am just going to take a block of cheese and I'm just going to shred this right over the top. Give it some nice cheese texture on top, cheese taste, and then pop it in the oven for 5 more minutes. So these are our graters. They're nice because you can either stand them up to use them, so if I was doing this over a cutting board, or I can lay it flat and put it right over my bowl and do it. There's also a hopper and a press so that you can put a small block of cheese or whatever it is that you're grating, chocolate, whatnot, so that your fingers don't get close to the blade. So, quick cooker, spare ribs, baby back ribs are in our quick cooker right now. We've got corn casserole going into the oven. I'm going to throw together a cucumber salad real quick for something healthy on the side. And I will post the recipes in the comments as well as what everything looks when I'm done. I may come back in a little bit and show you what they look like. These are going to be fall off the bone tender in 45 minutes, guys. Like I said, I'm going to put some barbecue sauce on them. I just did some store-bought barbecue sauce. I didn't go out and make, I didn't, take the time to make any. I'm going to put them on there, put them on a sheet pan, throw them in the oven for a few minutes, let that barbecue sauce caramelize and come out ooey gooey. And yeah, we're going to have homemade ribs in under an hour. Yay! So any questions, please reach out, guys. Have a good night. Hey guys, I'm back. I wanted to show you what the ribs look like. I let them cook for 45 minutes in the quick cooker. I let them natural release for 10 minutes. And then I manually released whatever pressure was left inside of them took them out, put them on some of our sheet pans. These are our sheet pans. I love our sheet pans. Super strong, rolled edge, very durable. Just put some tin foil down because once these go in the broiler, I don't feel like cleaning these off. So put some tin foil down. And guys, these are fall off the bone tender. I mean, just super, I'm sneaking a piece tender. And then all I did was I reduced some of the liquid that was left inside of the quick cooker. Added some store-bought barbecue sauce because like I said, I was not making homemade barbecue sauce tonight. And then I'm using our Chef silicone basting brush. If you or someone you know loves to barbecue and uses a lot of barbecue sauce and stuff like that, this is actually great for baking too when you're trying to make sure that your pan is, you know, greased well. This works awesome. So this is our silicone Chef's basting brush, and this is awesome because it goes right in the dishwasher when I'm done. And unlike those bristle brushes that you can buy, doesn't, you know, hold any of the smell or anything like that. So I could use it for sweet or savory and not have a problem. So again, these are just I'm putting on as much barbecue sauce as I can so it's nice and thick. These are gonna go in the oven on the top rack. I'm gonna watch them super carefully. When you broil in the oven, and I'm just realizing that my camera's a little askew. Sorry guys. When you broil in your oven, I usually like to keep mine cracked just a hair so that nothing, you know, kind of gets overcooked. So these are gonna go in top rack for a couple of minutes till it's nice and caramelized. I have my cornbread or my corn casserole inside of the 12-inch cast iron skillet. And then my son Andrew made some tomato, basil, cucumber, buffalo mozzarella with a little balsamic glaze inside one of our enameled stoneware bowls. And we are gonna have dinner very soon. So any questions, please reach out guys, and I'll make sure to take a picture of the final presentation before, and post it in the comments below. Bye guys.